You seen a doctor?
You don't get that kind of comedy and timing unless people care. Because the timing on that show is priceless.
I can't tell you how many young writers writing sitcoms, they said they did it because of Sally and Buddy and the fun it looked like they were having.
Someday he's going to get a big fat lip to go with that fat head of his.
Who's going to give it to me?
Sally.
Maury Amsterdam brought an amazing instinct for the joke. He did the jokes, he did the toppers, he was irreverent, he was the bad little boy.
Dick was usually wrestling with a problem of some sort, and Maury was cracking wise, and Rosie was trying to do both and did it brilliantly. She would deal with Dick and deal with Maury and get these wonderful gags in.
Hey, Richie, you'll love this.
Oh, no BB guns, Laura's against guns.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll use it on my boyfriend, Herman.
In case he gets fresh?
No, in case he doesn't.
When Sally wasn't bemoaning her fruitless search for Mr. Right, she and Buddy were usually zinging producer Mel Cooley, played by Richard Deacon.
Maury and Richard Deacon, who were enemies on screen, just loved each other off screen.
Mel, in the many years of our association, I know I've said a lot of unkind things about your bald head. And I'm sorry I didn't mention the rest of your ugly puss.
And Richard would howl at those jokes louder than anybody else would, because he understood what it was.
One last yuck.
That's always very good when you have two likable people who don't like each other. You know, the audience liked them both, but they enjoy them spritzing each other.
Well, I got good news for you. You are not losing your hair.
I'm not.
No, I just found it. Look, there's some here and here.
Rosie, Deke, and Maury, they really loved each other. They were the other team. That was the team there, and then there was the home team.
On the home front, Mary and Dick often found themselves dissolving into fits of giggling while they rehearsed together.
Just because I'm whispering does not... You cue me.
The heart of the show was this rapport, synergy, friction, sexual tension, and comedic timing between Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore.
We knew we were supposed to be mature, serious comedians, and so we would get those giggles.
I don't want to be a dancer. I want to be your wife.
That's the line.
It was really absurd. It was teeny bopper things, sexual tension.
Back up, please, to, do you remember what you told me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss her in a minute and I'm getting nervous, boy.
Mary, her analysis of that is that we actually had crushes on each other, and we started giggling. And I've heard a couple of psychologists I know say, yes, that's very true.
I've got a crush on you.
I think they both admitted now, years later, that they had little crushes on each other that they never acted on. So they say, as far as I know. But I think it was very real.
That I could fall with so...
They just ignited each other. It was like a comedic ballet on television. It was like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
They did have a very, Fred and Ginger kind of relationship where they just complimented each other's steps.
'Cause I've got a...
Rob and Laura's romantic chemistry made the Dick Van Dyke Show something more than a situation comedy.
Oh, yes.
Above all, it was a love story. And the best shows on television were love stories.
I think the major credit goes to Carl in the way he wrote that relationship. There was sexual tension between these two situation comedy people, and that had not existed before.
The sexual quotient in that show was apparent. Even though they slept in separate beds, you knew there was something going on there.
At that time in television history, which was 1961, husbands and wives were not allowed to sleep in the same bed.
Even though they slept in separate beds, they were a really hot couple. You could totally see them having sex. A lot.
Yeah.
You knew that these two were getting it on because of the way they looked and the way they acted and talked and reacted to one another.
I don't think television had two young people up to that time that were as attractive and as talented as Mary and Dick were.
They are indelibly original
And again, the question of chemistry. Not just that they were individually so talented, but that they served each other so well.
Dick and Mary's on-screen magic meant Rob Petrie began spending less time at the office and more time at home with his wife, Laura.
The show was sort of divided into two camps, and there was almost a kind of a subliminal contest for time. And I think that colored my relationship with Rosie and Maury, too, I'm sorry to say. We were not enemies. We never had a cross word, but we just weren't buddies, as they all were in the office, or as I was with Annie Gilbert and Jerry Paris.
Mary's emergence as Dick's co-star caused particular tension in her relationship with Rose Marie.
Rosie and I were kind of wary of each other because, you know, she was hired to be, if not the leading lady, certainly the woman who played off Dick. And then along came Laura, and she was going to be the woman to play off Dick.
I think maybe I was a little jealous of Mary. I'm pretty sure I was. Mary and I were working people, and we got along as well as could be expected, but we never became really close friends. But we worked together, and we laughed together, and had fun together, and ate together, and all of that, but we just never formed a friendship as two girls do, especially ones that are working together on a show.
When we return, Dick and Mary's favorite episodes.
I always think of the show that I had the most fun shooting, and it was called Where Did I Come From?
Hello, operator. Operator, my wife's having a baby.
It's the one where I've been accused by Rob of opening his mail.
And later, the president is shot, and the show must go on.
Who wanted to do a show with an audience? Who wanted to do a comedy show?
When we go back inside the Dick Van Dyke Show on Inside TV Land.
Tonight, we face tribal council. I can't believe we have to vote one of us off.
Well, I hope it's me so I can go home and get a decent meal for a change.
Mm-hmm.
What is this stuff?
It's, rat.
You're watching the Dick Van Dyke Week, right here on TV Land.
Every morning, every evening.
The Dick Van Dyke Show moved into its third season in the fall of 1963.
Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun?
Now a solid Emmy-winning hit for CBS, the series was hitting its comedic stride, a television classic in the making.
Hi, congratulate me.
What for?
You're looking at the new head writer of the Dan Rogers Show. What? Dan Howard. Well, changed his name right in the middle of our first act.
Executive producer Sheldon Leonard worked to ensure that his cast and crew enjoyed making the show as much as viewers enjoyed watching it.
And action, Sally.
Well, that's where Laura and I differ. You see, I wouldn't mind being married to a rich, doddering old man. I wouldn't mind being married to a poor, doddering old man. Because at least if he's doddering, he's... Sure, hello?
Hey, we better go back to her.
I did everything I could to make every set happy. Because these people are going to spend more time together for the next 5, 6, 7 years with one another than they did with their own family.
Ready. Action.
Mel, why couldn't I take the afternoon plane?
She goes on the air tomorrow, and Alan will be very upset.
Never saw a guy so crazy about the same line.
People on the Van Dyke Show loved working there so much, they gave it everything. They gave it everything because they were working for good people.
There's a warmth that you felt permeated throughout the cast, the crews. Everything was easy.
It was a show where every actor in Hollywood wanted to get a part on it because they knew the atmosphere was so fabulous.
All these people came from totally different places, totally different backgrounds, but we knew this was a family.
The creative family behind the Dick Van Dyke Show teamed up to create some of the most memorable moments in the history of situation comedy.
It's really hard to say which is my favorite. I guess it has to be the first. That's My Boy.
Sam Denoff and Bill Persky wrote That's My Boy for the first episode of the third season.
Hi, son.
In the episode, Rob becomes convinced that there was a mix-up at the hospital and that their baby got switched at birth with another family's baby.
Bob, are you trying to tell me that we have the wrong baby?
The surprise ending was a daring one for the time.
Hello. Yes, this is Robert Petrie. Who? Yes, Mr. Peters. What does he want? What do you think? Hello. Yes, Mr. Peters. That's right. You have something of ours, and we have something of yours.
I called the other couple. They show up, and they're black.
The network said, you know, this is, you really think this is a good idea? They were thinking it might be offensive to people of color.
1963 had been a year of rising racial unrest and civil rights protests.
They felt that this script made light of the black characters and that CBS would be accused of making light of racial issues. Sheldon Leonard, of course, knew better, and he and Carl said, no, Rob Petrie's the one that's going to look silly.
Rob, this is our baby, and that's all there is to it.
Honey, he doesn't even look like us.
The network and sponsors feared a negative reaction from the audience.
God bless Carl Reiner and Sheldon Leonard. They both said the following. Look, we'll do the show, and if the audience reacts as negatively as you predict, we'll pay for the show. But if they don't, you pay for it and put it on.
Honey, that's probably the Peters now. Brace yourself.
Rob, nobody is taking this baby. Do you hear me? Nobody.
Well, I think it'd be better if you went to your room. I can handle it.
I am staying right here.
The surprise entrance of Mr. Peters.
Hi, we're Mr. and Mrs. Peters.
Come in.
Played by future Mission Impossible star Greg Morris, paid off.
Mrs. Peters, won't you come in?
When they walked in the door and the audience saw them, they laughed and they laughed. We cut the cameras and just stood there and waited. It was the longest laugh I can ever remember.
Why didn't you tell me on the phone?
Miss the expression on your face?
People say, what is your favorite show? Well, I always think of the show that I had the most fun shooting, and it was called Where Did I Come From?
Yeah, that's a story I want to hear about the day I was born.
Oh, that was a pretty exciting 24 hours.
Were you there, Mommy?
I was there.
Good.
Written by Carl Reiner, Where Did I Come From aired on January 3rd, 1962, during the show's first season.
The madness of the pregnancy and my nervousness staying dressed all day and all night with a packed bag in my hand. Yeah, my hat.
It's time!
So many things happened during the filming that we didn't even rehearse. It became madness.
Hey, Rob, it's your wife. I think this is it.
Oh, hand me the phone.
Lights on.
I have gotten Maury's pants on, and I'm trying to call a cab.
Hello, operator. Operator, my wife's having a baby. Oh, wait a minute. Give me the police.
Rob, why don't we just call another taxi?
Yeah, let me call my company. We'll have another cab here in 5 minutes.
Yeah, Rob,
There's not going to be any company. Oh, don't hang up!
And I said, don't hang up. I broke myself up, which is, you know, the very height of comedy when you can do that.
One of Mary Tyler Moore's favorite episodes also aired that first season. The Curious Thing About Women was first seen on January 10th, 1962.
Any mail for me?
Yes, a letter from your cousin Joe and one from your agent.
It's the one where I've been accused by Rob of opening his mail.
Must be kind of disappointed. I only got 2 letters this morning.
No, there were a couple of others.
Well, I don't like to be nosy, honey, but where are they?
Well, they were only ads, dear. Nothing interesting.
Hardly worth steaming open, huh?
And I say, you're right, I have been and I won't do it. And he says, well, how will I know you won't do it? You're very good at steaming them open. He sends a huge package. That was really fun to do. Oh, I loved that a lot.
Honey, I'm home.
And I had to try to explain and apologize and be really, really comedically dumb.
Honey? Honey, are you in there? Honey, did a package come for me?
When we return, more classic moments from classic episodes.
She was naked in a bathtub, and all of America pictured that.
Look, how can you be stuck in a bathtub? Is it that narrow?
And later, Rosemarie loses her husband, and the show nearly loses Rosemarie.
I went to Sheldon and I said, I don't think I can do this last year.
When we go back inside the Dick Van Dyke Show on Inside TV Land.
Got any weekend plans? TV Land does. Fandemonium Weekends, 48-hour marathons every weekend, with every episode fan-picked to guarantee you get all the very best episodes. In September, watch Fandemonium Weekends devoted to Andy Griffith, The A-Team, Dick Van Dyke, Sanford and Son, and The Fugitive. 48 straight hours for TV satisfaction guaranteed. Your weekends are planned with Fandemonium Weekends, only on TV Land.